All right, if you are serious about finding a remote healthcare position, you've got to be looking at Imagine 360. This video is a replay of a recent Coffee and Connect that we performed with Imagine 360 to discuss all of the healthcare opportunities that they have in a remote role. This video is hosted by my dear friend and VertForce community manager, Katie Castillo. Let's hit play right now and learn how you can stand out as an applicant at Imagine 360. So let me go ahead and introduce you to Nicole Cochran from Expert Voice. She's going to talk about their amazing platform for military spouses and veterans. So welcome, Nicole, and thank you for being here today.
Thanks, Kimber. So excited to be here. So as Kimber said, my name is Nicole Cochran. I am the Director of Growth here at Expert Voice. And I'm here today with a couple of colleagues, Emily and Aaron, and we are so excited to be here and share a bit about Expert Voice, about the exclusive benefits that we offer to the military community and how you can take advantage of them. So thank you again, Kimber and VertForce team for having us. So Expert Voice operates like a typical shopping site, except you can access exclusive discounts of up to 60% off from over 600 top brands. This is brands like Vortex Optics, Garmin, Oakley, Brooks Running, Stanley, tons more. We've got savings on literally thousands of products across all kinds of categories, from running shoes, sunglasses, golf clubs, protein powder, camping gear, watches, you name it, we probably have it. And brands on our site offer these discounts as a way to show their appreciation and support for your service. And the savings here are generally better than you're going to find anywhere else. It's completely free to join and always free to use. And when you sign up to gain access, you save on brands that you already know and love. And the discounts really, you can't find them anywhere else. Today, we have over 200,000 service members, veterans, and military spouses who use Expert Voice. And we are genuinely so excited to continue to spread the word and share about Expert Voice within the military community. So VertForce, I know that you all have been using Expert Voice for a while. If you have any favorite finds that you think are worth sharing, feel free to drop those in the chat. We would love to hear from you. I'm sure there's some really great recommendations out there. Okay, so this is where things get good. As Kimber said, if you're not a member yet and you sign up today through the link that we're going to drop in the chat, you'll get a $15 coupon to use on your first purchase. And for our current Expert Voice members, if you have already signed up, we haven't forgotten about you. Fill out the form that we're going to drop a link to a form in the chat as well. And if you fill that out before the webinar is over, you're also going to receive a $15 coupon. So we're giving those out all around. So getting signed up on Expert Voice is super easy. Generally, you have to apply to get access to our site. But because of our partnership with VertForce, and we know that everyone here is part of the military community, today, we have a special link that will allow you to get access immediately and start getting those discounts. So first things first, Emily is going to drop 2 unique sign-up links into the chat. One is for military spouses and one is for veterans. Pick the one that applies to you and use this link to get started so that we can make sure and track your sign-up back to this event and we can get you that $15 coupon in your cart. That link will take you directly to the sign-up page, and you'll just need to enter your email and create a password. It'll ask you to verify a few pieces of information in your email, and then you're in. You'll instantly start seeing all of the brands and discounts available to you, and your $15 coupon will show up in your cart and is ready for you to start shopping. So now I'm going to hand it over to Emily to quickly share some fun things to know about Expert Voice.
Great, thank you, Nicole. So here I'm screen sharing our homepage for a minute, just to give you an idea of some fun things we have going on at Expert Voice and how to get to know our site. This is our homepage right now, where you land once you create an account and become affiliated. As Nicole mentioned, that'll happen automatically today, which is awesome. As a U.S. military spouse, you have access to discounts on over 650 brands through Expert Voice. So to see the brands that you have access to, you can always click the Brands tab up here on the top left-hand corner of our site. The search bar is always a great place to start if you're looking for something specific and you want to understand what we have available. So I search for sunglasses. You'll see we have Ray-Ban, Smith, Maui Jim, Oakley, 50% off, really incredible deals. You can also always use the search bar if you're looking for specific brands to understand what's here. Looking for Crocs in this case, seeing them at 40% off right now. We also have an outlet that you can navigate to out of the header at the top of our site. If you click to see all products, and you can filter down and figure out, what do we have right now in women's apparel. Just as an example, you'll see we have outdoor research and some other great brands at up to 70% off. So really incredible savings in the outlet. A few other things to know, we also launch weekly flash deals every single Wednesday. They run for 1 week. And this is always the deepest discounts for this season's merchandise on 4 or 5 rotating brands every single week. These are prices you won't find anywhere else. This week, for example, we have Burris, we have Municipal, we have Bubs Naturals, which is really popular for collagen. And we also have Nomadic if you're looking for a new suitcase or backpack or anything like that. Another thing to know is that we run 24-hour deals called The Drop every single Tuesday. These are super limited, high demand products, always at the lowest price offered. We recently ran Kodiak cakes, Oakley sunglasses, Big Agnes tents. So some really fun things to stay on top of there. If you sign up for our emails, which I highly recommend, you'll be able to get the latest and greatest on what's happening. And then I'll also mention that if you're a mobile shopper, we have an app. So check out Expert Voice in the App Store to have better access to everything great that we have to offer. So that's all from me, and I'll hand it back to you, Nicole.
Awesome. Thanks, Emily. So I think that's about it. So just a reminder, if you sign up today or fill out that Google form to let us know that you're already a member, but you're on the webinar, then every single one of you is going to receive a $15 welcome coupon. So that's it from us. Thanks, Kimber.
I just signed up today.
That's great. And we'll make sure you get that coupon.
Yes. Thank you, Cheryl. Okay. I saw a lot of people in the chat saying, oh, I signed up yesterday when I got the Expert Voice email, surprise email. So if that's you, go ahead and fill out that form that Expert Voice provided. We are not going to exclude you from the giveaway. But I do want to say briefly, when you guys started talking about Expert Voice, we had about 230 people here, and now we have about 330 people here. So just as a brief recap for everybody who joined, Expert Voice is an amazing platform. Emily, will you drop your links one more time? For being a military spouse or a veteran, you can sign up for that platform and get up to 60% off on hundreds and hundreds of brands. My favorite brand to buy there is Bubs Collagen. I put that in the chat so that you guys could see it. So here are the links one more time. And there they are. Emily just put them in at 11:42. If you guys will go through and give that lots of hearts and likes so it's easy for other people to see as they're going through the chat, because I know our chat pops off on days like this. So I cannot wait to help you learn about the career opportunities at Imagine 360. And today I want to introduce you to our host who's going to be guiding you through the career opportunities at Imagine 360. And that is our VertForce community expert. You all know her. You all love her, Katie Castillo.
Thank you, Kimber. And hi, everybody. As Kimber said, I'm Katie Castillo, the community expert here at VertForce. And thank you, Expert Voice, Nicole and Emily, for being here today. I love all the goodies you guys are sharing. I've got my drinking out of my Stanley tumbler today that I did get, and my whole family got from the Expert Voice website. So you know that we love them so much. And so today we are here to talk to Imagine 360. They are a remote healthcare company where their roles are making an impact in the healthcare world and in the lives of military spouses. We're going to be hearing from the Member Advocacy Vice President and Department Director. We're talking to talent acquisition at Imagine 360, and we're going to be painting a picture of the kind of support and growth that military spouses are seeing and experiencing there every day. So first, I want to bring on our guest, Julianne. Julianne, welcome.
Hi, everybody. Well, happy Thursday here. I'm so excited to be having this call with you guys and presenting Imagine 360 and, some of the roles that we have to offer. My name is Julianne Kimball. I am the manager of the talent acquisition team. So we're the ones that, do the recruiting and all of the conversations with you guys to, bring you on board. So a little bit about Imagine 360. we are in the employee benefits industry. And, essentially what we do is we offer more affordable health plan options to other companies and their employees, specifically by using reference-based pricing. So we, very innovative. We are trailblazers. We're advocates, and those are, just a couple of things that we find to be very important for us and our organization.
Thank you, Julianne. Thank you so much for sharing that. You know that we love Imagine 360. You guys are such an incredible company to work for and a great fit for military spouses. So, Julianne, can you tell us a little bit more about why you guys have been so successful in hiring and promoting military spouses?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great question. So we have, in the last couple of years worked with VertForce to, bring VertForce hires on and had a lot of success. I guess the first thing being we are a pretty much fully remote organization. We obviously do have an office where we have some folks go in, but for the most part, all of our roles are pretty much fully remote. And so they are positions that you can bring with you, across the entire United States. There's no limitations to moving, no states that we pretty much hire everywhere. So great opportunity to bring your work with you wherever you choose to go. And a lot of promotion opportunities as well, which we will go over. And then we also will have Craig Shockley on the line here, who will go over some of our openings specifically and what we have to offer in a little bit. But overall, yeah, I would say we really appreciate the work that you guys bring to us and just some of the way that you can advocate for our members. And yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Julianne. For our next guest, I'd like to bring on Mike and Grace here to talk about two of the departments that we're going to have open positions for today. So welcome, Mike and Grace. Thank you guys for being here today.
Thanks for having us. It's always a pleasure to join the team. I'm Mike Riley, VP of Member Advocacy. I've been with Imagine 360. This is my 9th year, but even prior to this company, my previous life and other jobs I had before that, I've always been very passionate about hiring veterans families, and certainly the partnership with VertForce has been amazing. Years ago when Addie and I started the partnership, this has been great for us. We're so proud to partner with y'all. We're so passionate, personally and professionally, about honoring veterans and their families. And we've found that we've had great success finding great candidates for our roles. So specifically about our roles, our member facing organization is very large. There are multiple positions and departments, and each department focuses on a unique piece of the member journey. Grace is going to talk about our advocacy team. I'll start by talking about our member experience organization, and this is the benefits team. These folks help to navigate members to the care that they need, and do that in a way where we make it very easy for members to work with us. We have a mantra that's called "Make it easy, make it personal." So we balance that focus on not only answering questions for our members about their benefits and about claim status and ID cards and things like that, but we also balance that with making a real impact in their lives. These positions in member experience, some of them are contact center focused, but again, it's not the usual stereotypical contact center. It's a very robust organization. Again, where the navigators are incentivized to really go the extra mile, not just answer questions, but think about maybe what the member's not asking and proactively provide that information and hold their hands. This is a team, I mentioned, incentivized for providing excellent service. These positions have a quarterly bonus program they're eligible for on top of their salary, and this is real money. These bonus programs, it's real money. It's not like it's just a gift card. You have eligibility to make up to 10% of your salary each quarter, and we do that through monitoring phone calls and other key factors, but mostly it's how you're treating the member. So we have the contact center, the navigators that help people to answer their benefits questions and navigate them to the right provider. We have a team called the Navigation Support Team. They specifically work with providers for the members. Their job is to go and provide not only a list of providers for the member, but reach out to each one of those providers to make sure that the provider is educated, that they know how to work with us, that we're so easy to work with, to really kind of pave the way for the member to go to that physician or that care provider and have a smooth experience. So some of the skills we're looking for on the benefits contact center teams, we look for folks obviously that have great communication skills and a passion for helping others, but some really good backgrounds would be certainly anybody with medical benefits background. That's a huge piece that would be a big benefit. A call center background, so you're used to, working on the phones, comfortable on the phones, you're excited to talk to people on the phones. On the navigation support team, where these folks are working more directly with providers, that role is exciting because you really look for people who are good at negotiating, because sometimes you're on the phone with these providers, they don't know who we are, they haven't heard about us. So you really have to be outgoing and really be able to break down those barriers in a very friendly way, obviously. But sometimes we find that people with former backgrounds in working in provider offices, that's a huge one. And actually, Grace came to us years ago. She was a supervisor in a provider office. But these navigation support roles, that's really a great background working in physician's office. Even sometimes folks who have, I'd say, elevated collections experience. So sometimes collections is a little bit of, depending on what, you're collecting for. Some roles are more kind of, bug people on the phones, but there's more elevated roles out there in the collections world where you're having to do more sophisticated negotiations and things like that. They would be great for the navigation support role. And those are just two roles. We have other roles, but those are what we're really hiring for, especially ramping up for new business. We've had a great sales year, so we have lots of new clients coming on, lots of growth potential. All of these roles that I'm talking about are a great way to join the company and feel fulfilled, but also to get your foot in the door. We have great growth in this company. We love to promote from within, so I can't say that enough. So that's it for the member experience side, what we call it. If you think about a benefits team, now I'll turn it over to Grace to talk about our advocacy team, where we've really hired a lot of VertForce folks in that team, and it's really a sophisticated service team. So Grace, take it away.
Thanks, Mike. So I am the director of our advocacy team. I have been with Imagine 360 for 7 years. And as Mike said, prior to coming to Imagine 360, my experience was in provider offices and hospitals doing everything but patient care. But that's kind of where my passion has been helping people in the healthcare service realm. I want to start off with thanking you all. It's an honor to be here, and we love this partnership, and I appreciate how engaged everybody is. That makes a big difference to our team because we really take engagement seriously, and it drives our culture and really helps to support our roles. So like Mike said, we are advocates. We are working directly with our members related to balance bills. So I won't get too technical, but if you receive a bill that says you owe more than what your explanation of benefits says, that's where we step in. And so our team is creating relationships with our members and everybody in their household to really quarterback and support them through the resolution of that balance bill. And so it's key to create those relationships. We're coming into people's lives, and I always think of healthcare is never anything fun. Even in the best of situations, it can be really stressful. It can be anxiety inducing. You could get good news, bad news, indifferent, even your annual checkup. There's just so much unknown there. And so when you get a bill for those items, that kind of brings up some of those concerns again. And so our team works with our members to create those relationships of accountability, trust, transparency, really tapping into how we can provide support and education without overwhelming anybody, without, making them take on more. We want to take that burden off of them and really make sure that we are walking them through that support, proactively checking in. And so for our roles right now, we have quite a few different roles in our team open. They all are impacting that member experience in a different way. But really, what those roles all entail is having people who have that service heart, who really care about helping other people. So, as Mike talked about the benefits side and the experience there, it's a little bit different on the advocacy side. We're really looking for people who have backgrounds in service. Our team is made up of all different backgrounds. It's amazing. That's what makes our team so dynamic. We have teachers, social workers, case managers. We have tons of folks who have re-entered the workforce after taking some time on. We just talked with somebody who's a little bit newer to our team, she was looking for a job for 4 years. She was a stay-at-home mom while she was putting her kids through school, and was trying to enter back into the workforce and kept getting passed up because people did not want to have her come on board because of her gap in time. I would say if you're taking time off for something, that is generally amazing experience because it's generally not for something that's easy or convenient. There's a real need there. So we really embrace everybody's background. The commonality to what we look for is that service heart, that work integrity, work ethic, and really pairing those because this is a different process. Most people don't have experience in reference-based pricing. And so we can teach that. We can teach, what reference-based pricing is, how our process works, but it's harder to teach that service heart mentality. So we really look for that service heart and then that combination with how you multitask, how you can navigate through the system and through technology so that when you're talking to one of your members on the phone, it's a seamless process for them. You're doing everything on the side on different screens and focusing who they are, what's going on in that moment. And so even though we do have several different roles open with different names, they all have that same commonality and have very similar types of candidates that we're looking for. So that is a really quick kind of recap of our advocacy team.
Just a small portion of what Imagine 360 does, honestly. So thank you both so much for that information. So next, I want to bring on and introduce you guys to two VertForce community members. So these are two women who are from our community and both of whom are working at Imagine 360 right now. So let's give a big welcome to Amy and Janelle. Thank you guys so much for being here. And first, I want to bring up Amy to the conversation. Amy is a medical management support specialist at Imagine 360. Hi, Amy. So Amy, why don't we start a little bit about your career journey before Imagine 360?
Sure. So like very many military spouse stories I have heard and got to witness and experience myself, I have wanted to just find something that's me as a military spouse. Yes, that's one of my roles, but it's not my only role. So I've also been a stay-at-home mom. In the first 10 years of my husband's career, I stayed at home, raising my boys, getting them to school, from school, events, what have you. But I wanted something that was mine and something that I was contributing to our family other than the most important role of, being caregiver to my children and my husband. So I've held, many jobs. I worked in a library. I worked in schools, medical admin, provider offices like Grace. And it was that provider office experience that I have that really showed me, okay, this is maybe something that I'm good at and I want to continue, doing. So here we go.
Yeah. And I know that's a story that resonates with so many in our community. I mean, that was me too, right? I worked in all sorts of different fields that had nothing to do with my background. So I know that that's something that makes a lot of sense to a lot of our community. And then, so now how did you find Imagine 360?
I found Imagine 360 through VertForce. I had been part of all these different work at home positions. We were getting ready to move yet again on another, PCS. And I had it gets tiresome, moving and having to wait sometimes 6-8 months trying to find the right fit as a military spouse where they're understanding of the gaps and the time that sometimes I am required to take off to help with the home when my husband deploys, right? So I had, for years, I want to say I've been looking for a work from home position for the last 10 years. Okay. So when we found out that we were leaving again, moving from Colorado to Florida, I was like, this is it. This is where I need to find something. And it was a year, us being here in Florida, that I finally was like, fine, let me look at this VertForce stuff. Let me see what posting. Let me log into a coffee chat like this one. And it was Imagine 360. And something about it just kept telling me, go back and watch it. And I did just that. So I applied, and I'm almost a year at the end of September. So
that's fantastic. I love that. I love that. So congratulations on getting hired with Imagine 360. A little belated, but still congratulations in order.
Yeah. So still pretty cool.
Yes, very cool. And you're here today, and you watched a Coffee and Connect, over a year ago, and you were in our candidate's shoes. So this is really cool to have you on today to tell it from the other side. So I know when we spoke about your journey with Imagine 360, you mentioned that you had some unexpected challenges that were unrelated to work come up during your year at Imagine 360. Would you be open to sharing a little bit about how they supported you through that?
Yeah, sure. So when we talked earlier, I forgot to mention to you that one of the very first things that happened was my stepmom had passed away. I was hired in September and she passed away in November. And there was nope, sorry, you can't. Nope, sorry, you can't take time off. It was, how can we support you? So that was a really big thing. Another thing is I was having some medical issues, like just arm issues. I'm right hand dominant. I was having some significant arm pain, had no idea what was going on. And I was very transparent with them in the beginning about, hey, this is what's going on. This is what the ortho is saying. This is what might have to happen. And I had to have surgery and I had to miss 6 weeks. And, my manager and her leadership, everybody was very understanding, extremely supportive. I have never had a job where my leadership was like, you have to take care of you in order for you to help us. If you're struggling, you can't help us, right? You can't do your job. So what can we do to support you? So it was nothing but encouragement. And I'm so happy to be here to share my story, to just, stay with it. Something is going to come along and your story can be like my story. So
thank you so much, Amy.
Absolutely.
And honestly, that's the kind of leadership that we all deserve. That is incredible. I love that so much. So thank you so much for sharing your story with us. All right, Janelle. So I'd love for you to introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about your story, how you found Imagine 360.
Hey, hi everybody. So I was a military spouse when I first started looking for jobs, obviously. So I had been a stay-at-home mom for 12 years. And so once my kids got into school, started school, I decided, it was time for me to look for a job. So what I did was I went to the Airmen and Family Readiness Center at the base that we were located at. And I asked for assistance on helping me to find jobs. And I really wanted a remote job because, with the move, I knew that we were coming up on a move and I wanted something that I could take with me to any location within the US. So they had recommended VertForce. And so I connected. And it just so happened when I logged on to VertForce and got connected through there, there were a lot of job postings for Imagine 360. And so what I did was I just looked for all the jobs that I thought that I could qualify for, being that I did have medical background in the past, but it was a little scary because again, I haven't worked for over 12 years. And so I just applied for every single one of them and hope for the best. And so I did. I got a call back, and yep, 2 years later, I'm still here.
I love that. So, and also belated congratulations to you too. That's fantastic. I love to hear your story. So that's great. And so can you tell us like about your journey at Imagine 360 a little bit?
Yeah, so I started off as an intake specialist and with the member advocacy team, and I actually work under Grace, who is an amazing, amazing supervisor. So she supports her staff so amazingly. But yeah, my husband retired after 20 years. I ended up having to move to Hawaii, and it was a scary thought because when I first started applying for jobs, you know, they only like to apply. They only like to hire people that lived within the continental U.S. Hawaii is not a part of the continental U.S. And so it scared me. And so I reached out to my supervisor and I said, hey, you know, my husband's retiring. I am going to have to move to Hawaii. And they supported me with the time difference. They supported me throughout the move. They supported me throughout this new journey as being, you know, from being an active duty spouse to a retired spouse. So yeah, I received tremendous support from all of my supervisors, actually.
That's amazing. That is amazing. I'm watching the chat blow up as you're telling your story because PCS moves are so stressful and so kind of horrible sometimes. And so to be able to have your employer support you and make it less stressful is like a rare, incredible thing. So I love that so much. And so let's all share a little bit of some love in the chat for that career continuity and the support from her team to get her moved and in that big life transition with her husband retiring. That's so fantastic. And now I hear congratulations are in order.
Yeah. Yep. So I recently got promoted from being a member, an intake specialist to now a member service advocate.
Amazing. Congratulations. Congratulations, Janelle. What was the growth process like for you? Because I know a lot of our candidates want to know about the internal growth situation, how that works for you.
Yeah, so with my direct supervisor, we have frequent one-on-ones. They always ask for, you know, how would I like to grow within my role? They offer a lot of you know, courses to help you grow in your position. And so she also asked, like, you know, where do you see yourself, like within the company or within our member advocacy team? And I said, you know, one day I would like to step out and advance more into like that member advocacy role, which is a step up from the intake specialist role. And so she said, yeah, whenever you are ready, let me know. We'll talk more about it. And so yeah, when I was ready, I sought her out and talked to her about my feelings about it. And so she really supported me and kind of like helped me to, you know, push me to take that next step. And here I am now, a member advocate.
Well, congratulations. And, you know, it's really powerful, I feel like, to be on a team with supervisors and managers who really encourage your growth. They want you to grow with the company and really support your drive to take on new roles. So congratulations again, Janelle. And thank you so much for sharing your story with us.
Thank you.
All right. Now, Janelle's story is really, really incredible, guys, right? And the really cool part about it is she's not an outlier. This is not an unusual story with Imagine 360, which I think is really cool. They have a like beyond amazing, awesome internal promotion rate. Julianne, do you want to come on for a quick second and tell us a little bit about your internal promotion rate?
Yeah, absolutely. And so it is, you know, something we are very proud of. We are double the national average for internal promotions. It is something that we, you know, really try to prioritize for our employees and, you know, offer up opportunities for growth, whether in the department or review or, you know, all departments within the organization. You know, we do ask that you stay in your original position for 1 year prior to, you know, being promoted. But then after that, your mark is met, those opportunities are certainly there. And again, something that we absolutely do prioritize.
That's amazing. So thank you. Thank you so much, Julianne. And everybody, I was watching your reactions like in the chat and on the screen, and it's unbelievable, right? So great company. We've heard a lot about that. So let's move into how you can start your career journey with Imagine 360. So now I want to bring on Craig Shockley from Talent Acquisition at Imagine 360. Welcome, Craig.
But no, thank you again for having us today. Once again, my name is Craig Shockley. First off, just thank you for being able to join us for this great event. Just some background about me. I started with Imagine 360 back in October of 2023. And honestly, it's one of the best decisions I've ever made in my career. It's really just an amazing organization, and we're really trying to make that change within the world. So I'm hoping you guys see that through the conversation today. And then just a little bit about the areas I work with. Currently, I work within multiple departments, such as the member experience department, support services, member services, client experience, and eligibility, just to name a few as well.
Awesome. Thank you, Craig. So one of the things that I know I really love, and the whole VertForce team really loves, is about Imagine 360 is that you love to say you hire for character and train for skill. Can you share more about your unique approach to hiring?
Yes, of course. So I would love to speak about this. So at our organization, we really place a strong emphasis on those soft skills during the hiring process. So qualities such as effective communication, empathy, emotional intelligence, reliability, that positive attitude really, and the willingness to learn. Problem solving is also a very high value that we look at as well. So while certain roles may require specific experience, many positions often or offer comprehensive training, allowing to prioritize overall fit and alignment with the company as well, and kind of like narrowing down those defined skill sets as well. So we are committed to finding the right individuals who will thrive within the team environment and really contribute positively to the shared goals of the department and the organization overall.
Awesome. Thank you. I know we love it. And I know that a lot of those sort of character skills, soft skills are definitely something that military spouses and veterans really embody. So I love how much you guys value those kind of attributes. All right. Now we're here for the big juicy stuff that everybody is here for. Jobs. So let's talk about what you're looking for on resumes. What can our candidates do to stand out when they apply? And don't worry, everybody, we're going to share job links very, very soon. We're just giving you some tips first, okay? So listen up.
Yes, definitely. So with the resume, I would definitely emphasize on not minimizing your previous experience and skills. As you've heard all throughout the conversation today, it's really highlighting that healthcare, benefit, insurance, and just customer service experience overall. So don't worry about shortening your resumes, but highlight any experience that you can show that shows that good fit. Really presenting that information directly to the TA specialist can really help with the process to understand your career and what you're looking for at this time as well.
Okay, awesome. So guys, don't forget to tailor your resume. That's what he's talking about, right? Showcase those skills that you have and the experience that you have. So make sure you're tailoring your resume to the position that you're applying for at Imagine 360. My team is going to drop some links in the chat for resources on resume tailoring if you need that or you need some help, okay? So keep an eye out. I think Kimber and Felicia are sharing those for you. So Craig, what about the positions we're sharing here in just a minute? Do you want to talk a little bit about those?
Yes, I will. And also, I did want to highlight also with applying on our website, when you go to our careers page, it does have a drop down specifically for VertForce. So I always want to make sure that individuals do check that off just so we can notify that and we can kind of see that as a highlight for the application as well. But going into the current opening, we're excited to really share what we have currently with a wide range of openings. So I'm really going to highlight more the navigation support teams, member service, and member experience teams as well. So really with Imagine 360 and joining this dedicated team, these roles play a vital part in supporting our members by addressing their questions, concerns, and really serving the key resource throughout the healthcare journey. So most team members in these positions work directly with members to ensure a positive experience with the healthcare plan. Similar to what Mike and Grace talked about, these roles would include our member service positions, some healthcare navigator roles, benefit support roles, and our member service roles as well. So some of our roles do have hiring classes. So for our member experience class, we have an extensive training period that runs about 6 to 8 weeks, and it has a start date of Monday, October 27th. So with this training class, the training time frame is 9 to 4:30 Central Time. And this training would include everything from mock calls to shadowings and also extensive computer system training as well. So you really get to see all aspects before getting out there on your own on the phone and having that comfortability speaking to individuals about the organization and the resources that we have as well. And I also did want to highlight some other opportunities as well with our member advocacy team. So when it comes to our member advocacy team, we have positions that focus on intake, administration, and then advocacy, similar to what Grace was speaking about as well. So some of these positions are ideal for individuals that have that passion of delivering like high touch points with members, personalized services, and really looking for those individuals that have those skill sets that we talked about, being really empathetic, passion, great communication skills, and really wanting to help individuals. And then another team that I wanted to highlight also is our medical management team. So in addition to our member experience class, we also like to speak about the medical management team, which mostly focuses on primarily like patient services when it comes to clinical perspective. So if there are any license in the conversation today or on the call, definitely look into those roles. I encourage you to look at any posting that you see under the medical management department. We frequently hire for these teams, and currently with these roles, you would need to have a compact state license or be in a state that is eligible for a compact state license. Just because of our organization being across the continental United States, you could be working in any state with patients or members, so it would have to have that compact state license.
Thank you so much for sharing all of that, Craig. Thank you for being here today. We're really excited. All right, guys. So my team is going to be sharing job links in the chat here in just a second. So get ready for those. Make sure you are taking Craig's advice and putting that onto your resume and making sure that you mark yourself as a VertForce candidate when you do apply. I can't wait to hear all about your hired stories as soon as we get those in. And so now my team should be dropping jobs here in just a second. All those links in there for you. Those links will go out in an email this week as well, or early next week too, with all of that information too, if you RSVP, just so you know.
This is an incredible event. I put my hand up because I wanted to remind you that as you complete the application for these roles that are in the chat, which you're going to see in the chat right now, the medical management jobs, the clinical excellence RN trainer, the hematology oncology RN case manager, the supervisor in case management and oncology, and the utilization management RN. When you are completing your application, please remember to select VertForce as your referral source.
Yeah, my name is Brynja.
Brynja, that's beautiful. Thank you for correcting me. All right, what's your question?
So I have rather specific questions, actually. I have experience in pharmacy tech, hospital, retail. I have been running my own business as far as teaching gifted children. I have all the things that I need. I also run a group called Military Heart Warrior Families United for military families that have children with congenital heart defects. And I do that kind of on the side as a volunteer thing. And I just coordinate across hospitals, doctors, moving, PCSs, all of those things. So I'm good for this place, but I don't necessarily know if they're good for me because I have a heart for advocacy. I'm looking for a company that is going to really enjoy my advocacy and however, things come up when you're a military spouse, such as PCS orders drop. Now I need to stop for at least a week to, do it yourself move or have the movers come in, all of those things. And should that happen while I am either newly trained or kind of how does the company itself deal with those surprise military things that require, say, hey, wait a minute, I have a family, we are moving. Wow. Is it a company that says, okay, well, you have this much space for PTO, or because I've been working for myself for
right, you're not used
so
to
long,
having to talk to somebody about that, right? I think Janelle gave a really great example earlier in how they handled her moving from Hawaii. Janelle, do you want to speak to that, or maybe you're a manager? Grace?
I think either of us, I don't know if it'll be more beneficial for Janelle to go through her experience, but I think an overarching theme to talk about is communication, right? So the thing that we ask from everybody is just communicate. Let us know what's going on. We understand life is going to happen. This is a job at the end of the day. And so we just ask for that
What'd you say?
communication. But I will let Janelle kind of go through what her experience was.
So it's just in general, say you've only just started working for Imagine 360, and 2 months later, oh, the orders have dropped. You have a return no later than date. You need to get your truck packed or the mover scheduled, and that needs to happen. And you need to take a week or two, quite frankly, off just to get through that part. So it's not somebody that has been there long term. I'm just talking about your new employees. If it's all about communication, that is great. I love to hear that. I was not ever looking at Imagine 360 because the impression that I got earlier was, okay, this is a company, they're going to want you 9 to 5, whatever. And I'm so used to being my own boss.
Yeah. Well, hopefully you feel more confident about your approach to it after this conversation. Thank you so much for your question, Brynja. Jennifer?
Hi, I just wanted to ask first if we needed a cover letter when we apply, or if it would be beneficial to have a cover letter. And two, I do have call center experience, but it was a long time ago, and I have always been taught to make my resume like no more than 1 page long, at the most 2 pages. And that was several years ago. Is that like something that's important to include on the resume? I do have that experience. If I did all of my experience, my resume would probably be about 5 pages long. I'm 43. I've worked a long time.
Yeah, no, that is a great question. I can certainly take this one. For the cover letter, definitely not a requirement. I mean, I think, you can add something as simple as a summary at the top of your resume, kind of just giving us an overview of what it is that you're looking for your next opportunity. But, across the board, I wouldn't necessarily say that a cover letter is required. We do, look at them, but if you wanted to just submit a resume, that would be absolutely fine as well. And then as far as the length of your resume goes, don't limit your experiences. Don't remove things for the sake of the length. That's not something that we particularly focus on. What we do focus on is the experience that you're including in there, tailoring your resume to the position that you're applying to, making sure that it's clear, that you are interested in that position specifically. So I wouldn't focus too much on, the length. We want you to feel comfortable and confident including everything in your resume.
Does that answer your question, Jennifer?
It does. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you so much, Jennifer. All right, Brittany Donner.
I was just wondering, what is the hiring process as far as like, how long does it take to like hear back and then actually get hired? Because that's what I'm running into, is it takes like months to hear anything.
Yeah, absolutely. So I would say, first off, our TA team, talent acquisition, we are small but mighty, but we will, specifically for this group and the couple of roles that we have coming up, we will make that commitment to review your resume and get back in touch with you within about 2 full weeks. So I would say 10 business days is our commitment to you to, reaching out and getting in touch with you. That doesn't necessarily guarantee an interview or, hiring for that position, but 2 weeks is our typical timeline for getting in touch with you. As far as our interview process, it does depend on the position. There are some where you'd go through a 30-minute screening and then 1 interview, and then we'd have a decision. There are some that, you'd go through that screening and then you would do maybe 2 to 3 interviews. So it does depend on the role, but I would say overall, we try to really, package our process up within a month at the most. We typically tend to move pretty fast as far as management feedback and, guiding you through the process. And then at the point of an offer, we do need a minimum of 2 weeks to get you onboarded, get you the IT equipment and all of that good stuff. So we really, again, I guess just to answer your question plainly, try to be as quick as possible. I would expect about a month of the process total.
Okay, great.
I would
Thank you.
say that's something that not a lot of employers commit to. So having the 10-day window and knowing that that's what you have is really beneficial. So thank you, Julianne, for giving us that commitment there.
Absolutely. One comment to make on that, though, and I do want to reiterate this, is with that 10-day commitment, you will have to put VertForce as your source on your application. Otherwise, we won't be able to pull your application and know that that's where you're coming from. So to receive kind of that 10-day commitment, please make sure that when you're submitting it, you're making sure that you're putting VertForce as the source.
Thanks for that reminder. Shakima, you're next.
I have two questions. The first one is, do you guys use the ATS to look at resumes, or is there a personal person that's doing it? And my second question is, if there are multiple roles that we're interested in, do we tailor our resume to each role and send in multiple resumes, or just one resume and apply to the role, each role with that same resume?
Yep, great question. So we do use our ATS, so our TA team can go in there, and that's where we will view your application. So once you submit it, we'll take it from there. And then that is a great question for the multiple positions, and there are a couple of different ways that we can answer it. So a lot of our member services positions are pretty similar in the sense where if you tailor your resume to one of them, but you're interested in multiple, it really should fit for all of those roles. The basis of these positions are pretty similar. So if you're applying to, let's say, our healthcare navigator position and our benefit support specialist role, just two examples, I would say tailoring it to, obviously changing the title and whatnot within your resume and what you're interested in will be key, but I wouldn't focus too much on tailoring it for those roles specifically when they are so similar. Contrary to that, though, if you're applying to, a position that's maybe more behind the scenes and maybe more working with our claims department or something like that, where they are pretty different. So I would just make sure that you're looking at the job descriptions and kind of using that to determine next steps. So to answer your question, it could go either way, right? It depends on how similar these positions are, but you want to make sure that you're looking at the title of the role and at least using that to tailor your resume.
Thank you.
Yeah, did that answer your question?
It did. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you, Shakima, and thank you, Julianne. So Maria Fernanda Rivera, you are next if you want to take yourself off mute.
There you go. Sorry. Hi, how are you?
Doing very well. What's your question?
So I have, I guess, two questions. The first one is the roles like call center style or like mix of call center and email and chat? And second, do you have any positions because I do have a passion to help people, but I would love to help people. My current job right now is I'm a translator, kind of like for insurance for roadside assistance. And I love to help people, especially if they don't know the language, because we all been there sometimes. So do you have any positions like that? Or if you do have, what is the it factor that you're looking for?
Yeah, great question. So the positions that we highlighted today for member experience, which would have been the healthcare navigators, the benefit support specialist, and the navigation support, those are all in a call center environment. So you will be, in a call queue and answering inbound calls. The healthcare navigator position goes a little bit more in depth as far as touching base with emails, doing research and follow-ups. But that role still has that expectation of being on the phone. We do have positions within our organization that don't require phone work. For example, we have, medical claims auditors or intake specialists. And those roles, we didn't highlight them today because they aren't open at this time. But that's not to say, that they wouldn't be open in the future. And that is pretty standard across our organization. We do frequently have roles. So if there, is not something that you are interested in right now, I encourage you to sign up for our job alerts on our careers page. And I believe that careers link should have been sent in the chat. If it hasn't already, it will be. But you can sign up for our job alerts on that page, where once we submit a new role, you will be first to get a notification in your email for it. So you can be one of the first to apply. We do not have translator positions. In our, call center or member experience department, we do have bilingual roles where, you would be working with members that are Spanish speaking. However, we don't have positions specifically for just translating.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you, Maria. And Alexandra Moon, you are next. You can unmute.
Hi guys, good afternoon. I come from education advocacy, and I just wanted to hear what are some things that could make myself stand out into just kind of trying to translate that towards like member intake specialist or just anything of those beginner roles.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I just want to make sure that I understood or heard you correctly. You said you come from an education background?
Education advocacy, so helping families understand their IEPs or 504s. So really kind of helping them understand what they're reading in terms of connecting and making those barriers seamless.
Yeah, absolutely. That is a fantastic question. And the first thing that kind of comes to mind is our member services advocate position. Grace, I saw you come off of mute. I didn't know if you wanted to jump in here.
Yes, so I think it's perfectly related because what we do as advocates, you have your members, their whole household will be working with you, and so much of our process is providing education, but not overwhelming somebody because this is a very new process, and sometimes you could be talking to people who it's their first experience with healthcare or insurance, and so even just going into those situations, never making assumptions of what somebody knows, but providing that support and compassion while educating them and really walking that fine line of educating without overwhelming. As a parent of a child who has an IEP, I cannot tell you how similar these these roles are, just because of that compassion that you are using to speak with families to really help them in a stressful time. And so people with educational backgrounds do really well in our roles because of how closely they are together as far as supporting members and understanding complex processes. So to really create that marriage between two different areas of providing that support and that service to somebody while understanding a complex process and really breaking it down into a way that each individual person is going to understand it.
Yeah, and the advocacy role, if I could add to that, Grace, thanks. Just to give it an idea in your mind what the structure is like, it is not a call center environment. It's more structured like an account management department. You have your book. It's just like an account manager has their book of clients. You would have your book of members. Now, there's a lot of members that you have, but you're not talking to them every day or every week. They are, that role does attach to a phone system, but that's just to catch people who don't have their direct advocate's number. So we're talking like, 5 to 7 calls a day that come in. Most of the time, you're reaching out to your members that you own, your households that you own. We really focus in on creating a relationship of trust. That's why former teachers, former social workers, they do really well. They have that passion for service, but they also have experience with communicating with sophistication, with really a high passion for helping others, but also too able to juggle the administrative piece, because the advocates are going to be working with our legal team. They're going to be talking to members. They're going to be dealing with other internal departments that support us, like our negotiation team. So there's a lot of balls in the air, but it's really satisfying. That particular team, 65% of that team are employee referrals. So that tells you just how much people love that team. I mean, all of our service teams are great, but they're very different as well. And that's great because you can align what your passions are and what your background is with multiple types of service positions, in addition to all the other positions that are open in the company that aren't service related, like there's IT positions and clinical positions and things like that. So
is it appropriate to apply for that initially trying to get into Imagine 360, or try a different position like a support something different? And then, because I know that you said 65% are internally referred. I think I heard that correctly.
I wouldn't worry about that. I would focus on what you what your background aligns with, what your passions align with, more so. It's definitely not, the advocates are definitely not considered an entry level role if you're just trying to get in. I think focus more on aligning your skill sets and passions with a particular role. Was that you, Grace? I'm sorry if I cut you off.
No, that's okay. And with the advocacy team, when we have time periods like this where we have multiple different roles open, we really look at, and Craig is wonderful at doing that with us too, of looking at those skill sets. And we may, you may apply for one role, but if we think that you would be better suited for another role, we'll have that conversation with you. So we interview kind of on looking at all of our positions as a whole to see where somebody may be best suited based on our positions that are currently open.
Thank you so much. I'm excited.
All right. Thank you for that dialogue on those questions, and thank you for those questions. Hannah Day, you are next.
Hello. Okay, so my question has to do with something that Craig said. I love that he said that you guys hire for character, train for skills. And he talked about the emotional intelligence and growth oriented that he's looking for in employees. So I am a really dynamic person, and those are some of my strengths, but they don't tend to communicate via a resume very well. Is there any advice that you have for communicating those kinds of skills that you're really looking for in your valued employees?
I would say if you're looking on the resume aspect, even having the keywords listed there during the conversation is really the easiest way that I kind of pick that out. I discussed that information, but even on the resume, if you have certain statements listed that kind of show the emotional intelligence, empathy, compassion, aspects like that, that always helps within the resume. But really during the conversation, it's a lot easier to kind of pick out that information. But if you do kind of put some of those keywords, it does kind of help to stand out compared to others.
Thank you so much. Sometimes it's just hard to get to that conversation stage, right? So that's what I was looking for, some advice and guidance on that. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I can jump in on that as well. I mean, that I think is one of the great things about this call and about our commitment to you guys is we understand, that a lot of the experiences that you might have, they translate very well, but you're right. Sometimes it's hard to see that on a resume when we are talking about a lot of these soft skills. And I think it kind of goes back to, and it sounds so silly, but putting, VertForce on your application kind of just shows us that, we again prioritize these conversations. And I think that is a great way for us to make sure that we are getting to that stage. So I think that would probably be my advice for, situations and concerns for that.
Thank you, Julianne. So I'm hearing over and over again, make sure that you're coming in as a VertForce referral. So that's under the how did you hear about this position? And thanks for bringing that to the surface again. You are on mute, Alexa.
Yes, your Alexas will go off when you say my name.
Oh, that's what that was.
Yeah, so sorry about
I
that,
unplugged
guys.
mine because it did that every time I said Alexa.
Yeah.
I had to unplug it. So
It used to be popular before the device became popular, the name. But just a couple, first of all, thank you for having me and having us. And just a couple of quick questions. Going back to resumes, sometimes you hear employers don't want to hear about your volunteer work, but it sounds like this company is very people focused. So is volunteer work something you guys are looking for as well?
Yes, absolutely. I think that has helped us a lot in the past when looking at resumes. It's certainly something that we care about, but it also translates well as far as experience goes. Specifically from the VertForce community, we've had individuals that, in the last 10, 15 years, let's say, have only done volunteer work, and that still translates to full-time opportunities with us. So absolutely something that we're interested in looking at.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Wonderful, thank you. And for the entry-level positions and the call center type work, is it flexible or like can you get up and walk away to get something to drink or eat or however that is? I'm home with a special needs child, so I have to be home. So I was just curious how flexible that is.
Yeah, absolutely. Great question. And, I think I can take this one. I don't know if any of the other leaders for the member experience department want to jump in as well, but I can give you, our schedule. So it is Monday through Friday during training, which is about 5 to 8 weeks. I believe it's 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Central Time. There are breaks given within that time frame. So, opportunities to get up and move around during those breaks. For training, we do ask that, you're at your desk and you're on camera and you're engaged in the training. specifically because there is a lot of information that's being given. Outside of that, once you're outside of training, you will be in a call queue. So there is the expectation that you're there to answer member calls. We don't want them, ringing off the hook. But we're also reasonable, right? Like we understand that there are priorities, personal responsibilities during the day. So, quick getting up and going to the bathroom and things like that. I mean, these are expectations that we know will happen. So I don't know if that answers your question. I mean, there is a bit of flexibility. I would say though, our top priority is making sure that, members are being taken care of. And I think that comes with, being at your desk during your shift.
And speaking of that, just last question. I know there's a lot of PPI and HIPAA and things like that, but is there anywhere we can access like a call maybe to see what sets your guys' company apart from other companies?
What do you mean by access a call? Sorry.
Like, do we call it, can we call in and see how a call would go? Or do you have something available on your website?
Like a day in the life? Is that
kind of
for like a day in the life video? Okay.
Because not all are the same, right? So I just wanted to see what sets this company apart from others.
We actually don't. That is a great idea and maybe something that we, can look into. I know we go over the start to finish of what a day would look like during our interview process. So you would have the opportunity to kind of hear exactly what the role would entail from, the beginning to the end of the day. But we don't necessarily have any resources available to kind of look into the day-to-day outside of an interview. I know, Mike, I saw you come off of mute. I didn't know if you wanted to add to that.
No, you're right. And also too, there's protected health information that we have to be concerned about. So we don't historically let anybody listen to calls, and we don't recommend calling in and pretending that you're a member, because that would, would take time away from a real member. So, but in the interview process, that you could drill into that more in depth and hear how a typical call would go.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much.
Elizabeth Breeze, you are next. If you'd like to take yourself off mute, we'd love to hear what you have to say.
Yeah, hi. First, thank you so much for everybody answering questions. That's really kind of you guys to take time out of your day. So I am in the middle of a career change. I just went back to school and got my degree. And while a lot of my experience has been in the like floral and horticultural world, specifically like customer service and whatnot, I was wondering if you would like to see some of the aspects that I learned in my degree spelled out. I got a sociology degree, and community engagement and advocacy is really important to me and is very important to that major. So I wasn't sure if it would be pedantic to kind of spell it out or if it would be okay to put it all out there.
Yeah, great question. So I would say when we look at what education, we really are just kind of looking at the degree that you've obtained. I mean, it never hurts to provide additional detail, but I wouldn't say that it's something that's needed on your resume. What I would suggest you add is any, extracurriculars that you were a part of within your school, or, maybe specific projects that you worked on that you felt held a lot of weight. So I would add maybe things like that, but I don't know if I would add, class information or specific things that you learned. I would to it to more things that you've done, if that makes sense.
I would recommend too, in addition to what Julianne said, maybe again, to Julianne's point in the resume, but that might be an opportunity to do a cover letter where you can focus in on tying some of those specific things that you learned or labs that tie directly to something in the job description, so maybe in a cover letter, that would be a good opportunity there.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I helped fund start a disability justice club. So advocacy is very important. So I'll definitely find ways to add that in. Thank you.
Awesome.
Okay, thank you so much, Elizabeth. That was a really great question. And Alexandra Canal, you are next. If you want to go ahead and make your way off mute.
Hi.
Hey, good to see you.
Me too. I just wanted to, again, like everybody, just say thank you for taking the time out and answering questions and providing this information. As for my question, so I've been, all of my experience has been in behavioral health, specifically being a registered behavior technician. I have my bachelor's and my master's degree in psychology, and I've just felt very stuck because all of my experience is working with children with special needs, specifically autism. I've dabbled in like the behavior consultant roles, but as of now, I've just mainly been a registered behavior technician one-on-one. So is there any sort of like roles or tips for applying, putting on my resume that because I feel like I have a lot of like traits and characteristics. Like I love advocating. I took that very seriously when I was more of the behavior consultant role. But are there any tips on like what I should put down? Because I feel like my field and my experience is very like niche, but I have like traits and characteristics that like go above and beyond with that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I would say, I guess it really just depends on what it is you're looking for, right? I mean, the type of position. I agree with you. I think those experiences would translate well. And I apologize for the confusion here, but I just wanted to confirm you do not have an RN license, or you do?
I do not.
Okay, no worries. I was just going to mention we have our medical management department if you had the RN, but outside of that, I mean, I do think that our advocacy department, for example, would be a good opportunity for you, but it really will just come down to what it is that you're interested in. So I would just, add a lot of these softer skills to your resume, add all of the experiences that you've had within recent years, and try to tailor that specifically to what it is that you're interested in.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you, Julianne, for answering Alexandria's question. Amy, would you like to come off mute and let us know what your question is?
Perfect. Thank you so much. And again, thank everybody for coming in today and hosting this for us and just really talking us through this. I'm kind of in the same boat. My career for the last decade has been very, very niche. I'm a childbirth educator and a birth and postpartum doula. So I've been working with families, specifically advocating for the type of birth they want, the type of healthcare they want. How can they make that fit in within the hospital's policies and their guidelines that they have to follow? So really my question is, how do I bring that deep birth experience of being in the room with them to really bring that to the advocacy side or the customer service side of the calls?
Yeah, definitely. That's a great question. And we see that a lot with folks coming from, more of kind of that clinical side, right? Where you're working with them from that perspective. I would try to pull out some of the things that you've done with them from a communication perspective. You're saying you're advocating for these members or for these family members. I'm sure you're providing them with education. You're working with them to ease their concerns. All of these things are important and things that we look for. So I would try to focus on that, try to focus on the relationship maintenance and management that you've done with these families.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love your question, Amy. I can tell that you care very deeply about what you do. So thank you for asking and getting that out there for everybody. All right, everybody, it's 1 o'clock. So I wanted to ask you to thank our guests in the chat, our speakers. So Julianne, Mike, and the rest of the Imagine 360 team. If you guys want to show them some gratitude in the chat right now, now is the time to do it. We had a lot of questions today. And I think my first call to action is if you did not get your question answered, you are more than welcome to email our team. And as soon as the thank yous slow down, we will put the email in the chat. I want to give the Imagine 360 team a moment to address anything that they think that they'd like to talk about that didn't come up during Q&A. So Julianne and team, is there anything that you saw in the chat or that you thought was a major theme that you'd like to discuss before you guys sign off?
Yeah, great. Thank you for that opportunity. I think there's been a theme, of a lot of folks in the chat saying that they've applied and, haven't had the opportunity to interview yet. We absolutely understand how frustrating that can be, the job market right now, and just, submitting these applications. But I think my comment to that in general would just be, don't give up, right? Like it sometimes does take a while to, get an offer or whatever the case is. So we just encourage you to continue to submit those applications. And, we will look at them and we will continue to consider you for these roles. So I just want to, put that out there as to just don't give up and just continue to submit those applications.
Thank you. Anybody else from Imagine 360?
Just thank everybody for your service, the service of your spouse and your family, because your whole family is serving the country, and we appreciate that. So many great folks on this call. Appreciate everybody coming on. I tried to rapid fire answer as many questions as I could in the chat. Like Kimber said, if you have any additional ones, email them and they'll make sure that you get them answered. But, you know, really take advantage of thinking about which roles you're interested in. And again, as much as cover letters aren't necessary, maybe for some of you, it's a good way to pull out where you see value in your education or your unique background, or even when you had time off or volunteering, to make yourself stand out. And we're just excited to meet y'all, and good luck to everybody.
Thank you. Now is a good time for my team to put that email address in the chat. So basically what we said is if you did not get your question answered, we're committed to making sure that we help facilitate that. We had probably 10 times the volume of questions during this call than what we typically anticipate. So we're doing our best, and we're here to serve you and to make sure, as fellow military spouses and military connected individuals, that we're doing what we can to make this easier for you. Well, with very much gratitude, our Imagine 360 guests, you guys are free to go, and we will handle any follow-up email questions via email. I hope you appreciate Imagine 360 as a remote employer as much as I do as a military spouse, and their commitment to hiring military spouses from the VirtForce community. If you are headed over to apply, be sure to include that VirtForce was your referral source. And stay tuned, because we have plenty of more remote work opportunities coming soon. If you want to learn more about our organization, you can join. Our membership link is in the show notes, and you can also smash the subscribe button to get notifications every time we post more videos like these. This has been my Military Spouse Lifestyle Show. Thanks for watching.